I like to point out before we get started that I haven't slept in like 4 days, and I've had a little too much to drink. So we're going to get through this, most likely. But anyways, I'm basically done with the radio system. I still have 2 or 3 things left to do. Mainly, I need to get these antennas to actually broadcast the silos to each other. Right now they don't. If you actually look at this one, it's got no data. However, this one does have data. Now, when you build these, which I'm going to show you how to do in a second, or maybe another video, it depends on how much time I take. You build it all together. The first thing you do when you open this up is request data. Now, I'm going to replace this icon with probably like a synchronization icon or something. This will load all the data from the server to the client. The reason it doesn't automatically do that is the packet for this data is sizable and is not sent to you per tick. So you want to click this every time you change the network, like refresh. But when it's loaded, it's going to show you all of your silos and their current status. It'll say online if they're online. It'll turn yellow if it can't connect, and red if it can connect but there's something wrong with the silos, such as power failure, etc. The offline mode isn't implemented right now. You don't have to worry about it. But it'll show you your silos. Now, just like the tile controller, which is the tier 2, in case anybody's interested, you can click these. You get all your settings. Back button doesn't work right now. I have to fix that. You can fire the missiles from here. There's no safeties. You click it, it's going to go. I'll add a safety later. You can scroll through pages, and it'll give you all your stuff. If a controller doesn't have a name, the name doesn't show up. It shows us page 3. If it has a name, it'll tell you the name. This is the display name. This is what you see. Group ID, this is what everything on the network sees. This is what the network uses to talk to your stuff. If you have more than 6 silos connected, you get a scroll option. You can click all the stuff. You can have up to 20 silos connected to each controller. The limit is set in place not because there's anything actually wrong with it or I really need to set a limit. The GUIs become really tedious to work with when you start getting large amounts of silos. I could have set the number to anything, to be honest. 20 sounds good. If you're linking more than 20 to each connector, you're doing something wrong. You should be building small clusters of silos, not massive arrays. Massive arrays are bad. I'll be adding auto-loading later. You don't need a massive array, you just need to auto-load your missile launchers. But as a note, you can fire. So if we look over there, this is an array. We're going to go to the power overwhelming. Click fire, 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 fire. We now have an array of missiles going up. That's going to hopefully land over there and not on top of me. I've rebuilt this, I don't know how many times now. Nice cluster of missiles. I'm going to be implementing a way to launch an entire array at once. Right now, I'm not going to do that because it is painful just to code launching a single missile. I thought it would have been easy to remote detonate stuff. It's taken me an entire week just to get this one item to work. Everything here, one item. Now, if you're familiar with code, you're probably saying in your head, well, that's a little overkill. You could have just linked the detonator up to the silo. That's the old way it was done. Not realistic. No real gameplay options going there. This adds gameplay options. Gives you stuff to build, gives your enemy something to destroy, gives you something to destroy on your enemy's base. A lot of options, hacking everything. Let's see, we're at 4 minutes. Okay, so how we build this is really simple. We'll go create the blocks. You need an antenna. Without the antenna, this doesn't work. The antenna is not just required to communicate over distance. This actual thing sends a signal out, which is received by all antennas within range. The current range of the remote detonator is 2 kilometers. I'm going to make higher tiered versions and lower tiered versions. Default's just going to be 2 kilometers. You've been warned. Outside of 2 kilometers, you get squat. Now, how this actually works when it broadcasts, Right now it's set into a certain mode. It's single silo fire mode. So it's going to fire the first missile it finds with the controller group ID of NubTube, with the silo name of Joe Bob, and with the passkey. Now, if it matches the group and it doesn't find the silo, it's going to give you an error. If it matches the group in the silo and the password doesn't work, it's going to give you an error. It's not going to look for another silo if it matches either one of those. It'll error out. If the frequency does not match your tower, which I'll be adding ways to set the frequencies here later, it's not going to be received. It'll be just completely ignored. You'll get nothing. I'll be adding ways to tell if you get a reception back. Plus, I will be adding ways that you can say to these controllers to not broadcast messages back. As right now, if I click, it'll say failed to fire, check your target data. Because there's no missile in the tube. If the mode to hide the messages is enabled, you won't see that. It'll simply say, okay, you have nothing. The ideal behind putting that setting on here later is that if somebody walks up to your network and clicks this randomly with some data set into it, they won't find your wireless network. I'll be adding ways to hack the wireless network separately that does not involve using easy to get items. There'll be trigonometry involved. You're not good with trig, I apologize. But how we build these, since I got distracted, let's go ahead and grab up some stuff. It should work. Okay, we're going to go over here. Now, there's a high likely chance when I build this it'll connect with the grid over there, but it doesn't matter. Now, the antenna size, if you build this is going to have a default antenna range of, I think, 50 meters. So literally you can connect over there from here. Each antenna you add, I think, increases the range by like 50-ish. It's dependent on your height. The higher the antenna, the bigger your range gets. The height of the antenna matters more than anything else. Your Y level also matters. So if you are above 64, you gain a bonus on Y level. Below 64, you lose a significant portion of your distance. You can lose so much distance just from being underground that your antenna will fail to function, because it's a default flat line negative 2,000 meters. Because the ideal is that you're not supposed to put an antenna under the ground, and if you want to put an antenna in the ground, I'm going to make you work really hard to hide that antenna. But every connector you stick on here, which I still have to fix that model and probably won't get to it today, is going to extend it by 90 meters in the direction it's pointing. So if you want to make a monodirectional antenna, all you have to do is just do this. This will extend the range out that way while still having a minimum bubble range, like roughly around here. So you can't avoid the bubble range. I'll add specialized antennas in a separate mod for doing very focused, pinpointed antenna ranges. That way you can send signals to your other bases without getting detected easily. But once you get the antenna going, which I'm going to go ahead and break this, you place this down. This has to be next to this. I'm going to add wires and other ways to link it remotely, but right now this has to be next to this, because this is going to connect to that, and this is going to share it. Now you can have more than one antenna actually next to this with different frequencies. Frequencies are not settable yet because the frequencies would be set on this, and I don't have a GUI, and GUIs are painful to code. But you place this. This is your connector. This needs to be connected to this. If you're familiar with how the rest of the linking data works in here, essentially the easiest way to do is you right-click this, you shift right-click to select the data, right-click the link, or that should have worked. Oh no, it's the other way around. Yeah, I'll see if I can fix that so it's noob-friendly so you don't have to remember. Because I don't remember. If I don't remember, you guys don't remember. Now this has a range of 50 meters wirelessly. I believe it's 50 meters also to connect to this, but it's 50 meters, I believe, for sure to connect to silos. So your silos have to be wirelessly within 50 meters to connect to this, and this will broadcast data to that. Think of it like a short range wireless, but it's not really wireless because it'll go through anything and always connect. I don't know if I'm going to modify that to act like a wireless network, because to be honest, there's no point. But you right-click this, right-click that. Okay, that's a bug. Yeah. Go figure. Everything was working. Ah, whatever. Ignore this. Just pretend it's working, and we'll move on. But you would link these together. This would show these silos to that network. Now, at this point, this is a functional silo base. Now, if the broadcast data could be sent over there, you could actually connect from over there, view the data, and launch these silos. But unfortunately, I haven't added that feature yet. I will get to it here shortly. But you can play. The next part, you can place this display just about anywhere. It does not matter. You could put it up here. You can put it over here. You could even put it over here if you really wanted to. This needs to be linked to this. So you need to right-click this, click that. This is now connected to that. Basically, what this is this is your GUI tile. So what you could do is you can build your command controllers, hide them, put them wherever. Doesn't matter. You then build these. These are your workstations. Now, your request data, of course, we aren't connected to actually, I think I could actually reconnect to that. Let me find another data chip. I may actually end up making these automatically connect to that down the road, in which you just simply have to pass a passkey into this in order to make it work, so you don't have to manually do. That tile's already linked. Why is that not showing up then? Oh, that's right. It doesn't have any silo data. That's basically it. Now what you'll do when you have a launcher, since I can't use this one over here since I have to fix a few bugs still, hopefully I'll get them done by today, is when you want to actually use a remote data. Now right now this remote data is already coded. I'm going to get a new one just to show you. Now if you click it, you're going to get a message saying you got no data. It'll say use the silo interface to actually this. This is the silo interface. Now you would find a missile. So you go say here. You put in here, ignore the stick. I'm going to replace it with a grayscaled version of this. This is just, I figured out that Forge has a way to set that in the background. Really cool feature. Basically means I can do a gray outline in the background for new friendlies. But you put it in here. Now this is a, this container acts like a workstation. So if you exit, it will pop. Well, it's supposed to pop the, hate when you get things that don't want to function correctly. It's great. But what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to basically drop the item. But unfortunately it didn't. Always get nice bugs. I always seem I get the bugs exactly when I'm recording. Not before, not after, just when I'm recording. But you click the encode button, it encodes the data, it'll put the name of the silo in here, the passkey to the silo, the group of the tile it's attached to, and the silo, well, I already did the silo name. It also do the frequency. Now, the group frequency are going to be set from the previous screen you're on. In theory, what you can do is you can connect a silo to multiple different separate networks. So that group ID and frequency are going to change depending on what GUI you open. But moving on, you got remote detonator, it's coded. Now I'm going to put a missile in this silo over here since it's, well, in theory this should work. There we go, we'll just do that. I forgot. It's right click to open it. Both silos are loaded. Now these, I believe, are set over here because I haven't got it. Whoa, that was, I'm going to call that up to latency, why that just warped sideways and then up. But it goes up, comes down, you can remotely trigger it. Now you can have as many of these as you want in your inventory. Just make sure they're encoded for the right data. If the data is not encoded, oh, there goes the missile. It's going to give you an error code. A good example is I'm just going to break this tile. This tile no longer exists. I go to click it, can't find the silo. Now if I break this and click again, well, actually, why did that still think it's alive? Oh, there it goes. Can't find group nubtube. I'm assuming the reason it did that, can't find silo name again, is that was caching the reference to that still and took a second to delete. I'll have to go look at the code again and make sure it refreshes quicker, because that's, yeah, another bug. I got a list now of, I think, 200 plus bugs I got to fix today. Day 5, no sleep. Anyways, you guys enjoy this. I'm going to release a build here after I upload the video. And you guys can have fun. Since this stuff technically works, of course I'll fix the bugs in the video first. before uploading, but I think you guys get the idea.